Maisie, are you there? We have to have a serious talk right now. I've had just about enough of this. Did you really eat my food out of the fridge? I made that food for me to eat and put the leftovers in the fridge to be my meal when I got home. Now I have nothing to eat.
Oh, hey there, Cheryl. Nice to hear from you too. If you really must know, Barry told me that it was if I ate that stuff. So I don't get why you think it's okay to be coming at me like this when it isn't even my fault. If you're really going to be so upset over this, maybe next time you should make enough food to feed the whole house. Have you ever thought of that?
And just what makes you think that I should have to cook your food as well as my own? Aren't you capable of cooking your own?
Did you seriously just say that to me? Are you being serious right now?
You know, I was okay with it happening if it was a couple times a month. I can let things like that slide. But you've been stealing my food out of the fridge almost every day now. I buy all of the ingredients myself, and now I've been paying for 2 or 3 people's worth of food just to have enough for myself. If you really want to eat my cooking, then the least you can do is help pay for it.
Wow, I really just can't believe you right now. Are you seriously trying to extort your husband's little sister for money with this shtick?
Look, I remember that you once told me that you worked freelance and only ever took home about $1,500 a month. It isn't like I can't understand why you would want someone to pay for your food.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just figured that since we're sisters-in-law now that you would want to make sure that I was always taken care of. I mean, my brother is letting you live in his house after all. It really is the least you could do. But honestly, to try and steal from your own sister-in-law like you're doing now, well, I guess I just never thought you were that kind of person.
Are you seriously bringing this nonsense up again? You know that this isn't how things really are.
Well then, why don't you tell me how things really are then, huh?
The house that we're all living in belongs to my parents. How many times are you going to make me repeat myself?
Well, that might be true, but my brother is the one who earns all the money at home, right? So basically, if it weren't for him and his income, we wouldn't be able to live here, right? So the way I see it, the house really belongs to my brother.
You do know that I also have a job, don't you? I mean, you do realize that we both do leave the house every day to go to work where we have to earn our own income, right?
Right, but the main earner for the house is actually my brother, right? I mean, he earns more than the rest of us.
But the fact is that the house is my parents' house. It's my childhood house. You do understand that, right?
Cheryl. Don't you ever get tired of having the same conversation over and over again? I mean, can you really not see how selfish you're being? I'm going to show all these messages to Barry and make him set you straight. You're going to regret going up against me.
Cheryl, what is the matter with you? I just finished talking with Maisie and she told me all about the horrible things that you were saying to her. I thought I told you that you need to quit fighting with her. I think the least you can do to make up with her is to cook her dinner tonight. Honestly, how can you be so selfish and cruel to someone like Maisie?
All right then, Barry. I can do that if you pay me for the food that Maisie is going to eat.
Excuse me? You can't be serious about that, right? I know that you didn't seriously just suggest that to me. Do you even hear yourself right now? Honestly, sometimes dealing with you can be so difficult.
You probably already know this, but Maisie actually puts a lot of stock into you around here, even though it's my house. She seems to think that you have the run of things because you earn the most money. And yet, despite earning all that money, why aren't you doing more to pick up your sister's expenses if you pity her for having them so much?
Oh, what? This again? I don't think we really need to open this can of worms again.
Listen to me. Maisie used to only come over a few times a month, and I had no problem with it. But now she's here almost every day and is driving me up the wall. This house belongs to me, and I would just like a bit more privacy while here.
I see. So basically what you're saying is that you're going to try and go against me, the real breadwinner of the house?
Wait, what? What are you talking about right now? Please tell me that you didn't actually just say that. Do you even realize how ridiculous you're being right now?
That's right. I finally get what you've been trying to say this whole time. And if that's how you're going to be, then I will always take Maisie's side over you.
You can't be serious about this right now, right?
No, of course I'm serious. I'm the older brother, and it's my job to watch over my little sister. She's my family, and it's my duty to take care of her. You're the one in the wrong here.
And just what are you going to do about it, huh? Kick me out of my house?
Well, I have no other choice. I mean, if you're going to treat my little sister that way, then you have to be punished somehow, don't you think?
Hey, why don't we all calm down here for a moment and think really hard about this? Are you really sure there isn't something important that you're forgetting right now?
Don't try and come at me with your usual threats. They aren't going to work on me this time. Maisie and I are going to stay at my parents' tonight, but tomorrow we're both coming home, got it? You have until then to move out of the house with all of your belongings in tow, or else I am divorcing you.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess I could always try and go to stay with some friends or something then.
I don't care where you go, just get out of this house already.
All right already. I understand it. Well, goodbye then.
Just stop texting me and leave already. If you can text, then you can pack. We want you out of this house right now. Hey, Cheryl, are you there? I'd really like to talk if you have a second. I feel we haven't talked since you left the house. I'm wondering if enough time has passed for you to think about what you did wrong. I just want you to know that if you're ready to apologize, then we can let you back in. But until then, you aren't allowed to come back home, okay? I mean, honestly, what is the point of keeping up all this fighting? For pride? That's silly. Just come back home and apologize to Maisie and I, and we can put all this behind us. Don't you see that?
Cheryl, are you there? Please stop this already. I mean, just how long do you think you can keep this up? All you have to do is come back home, say that you're sorry, and then my brother will forgive you for everything. Don't you want to come home? Don't you want to save your marriage? You can do all that, I promise. You just have to come to us and say that you're sorry for everything. Okay, seriously, Cheryl, what is going on here? Why are we having these heavy boxes being sent to the house right now? What is the meaning of this? Barry's gone to work, and I can't seem to get a hold of him. I need answers now. Do you understand me? Get back to me when you see these messages. Cheryl, are you there or not? This strange old couple showed up at the house and they wouldn't leave until I beat them up and threw them off the property. I told them that the house belonged to my older brother, but they just didn't seem to believe me. They told me that they left the house to their daughter and didn't know how I was.
Maisie, are you serious? Have you seriously not figured out what's going on here yet?
Cheryl, you finally answered me. I want answers, and I want them now! Who were those old people? Are they friends of yours or something? Did you send them here to try and kick us out of the house? How could you be so cruel?
Do you really think those two old people are just complete strangers, totally unrelated to this situation? That was actually the second time ever that you've met those people.
Well then, who are they? I seriously have no idea who those old people were supposed to be.
They were my parents! Duh!
Wait, those two people were your parents?
That's right. My parents moved away to another state about 5 years ago because my dad got a transfer in his job. He just finished his stint away and the two of them are finally coming back to their home. All those boxes that are showing up are full of their belongings.
No, you can't be serious about this. I mean, it's not their house. It belongs to my brother.
Maisie, you know that we've gone over this again and again and again. I told you that the house belongs to my parents.
But, so, you were being honest about all that?
Of course I was. And just because you tricked yourself into seeing it some other way doesn't change the facts on the ground. Did you seriously think I was lying about any of what I said?
So then, whose name is it on the deed to the house then? Yours or your parents'?
If you really want to know, my dad is written down as the owner of the house. I was taking care of the house while being allowed to stay in it while the two of them were away for work. That was just before Barry and I got married, and I invited him to move in with me and live together. Now, do you realize that you've been officially kicked out of that house?
I guess so. I suppose it would be weird for me to keep staying here if your parents were going to be living here.
Good. I'm glad we have this settled then. Now, why don't you run off back to your house already?
Hold on a second. What if my brother just buys the house from your parents? What do you think about that?
You're not serious about that, are you? You want him to buy the house.
Of course I'm serious. I mean, just think about it. If Barry buys the house, then nothing has to change at all.
Yeah, I really don't think that is going to work out well for you at all.
Why not? It's the perfect plan. I mean, Barry works for a huge company. Surely he earns enough to buy any house that he wants.
So I guess you really had no clue about any of the truth after all, huh?
The truth? What do you mean by that? What are you talking about?
This is going to be tough coming from me, but Barry only takes home about $1,700 a month.
Hold on a second. What did you just say? My older brother only earns $1,700 a month?
Well, even though Barry and I work at different companies, we're both about the same position in our respective jobs, and I make double what he makes.
Wait a second. You earn twice as much as Barry makes?
That's right. Although I guess I should make a connection. We're of similar rank in the company, but Barry is a temp, and I'm not.
Wait, what? Why am I just hearing about all this for the first time? What is going on here?
It was about a year after Barry and I got married. He made a huge mistake that ended up costing him his job, and he has always had trouble finding new work after that. He had actually stopped looking for some time before I told him that he needed to do something, so he went to work for a temp agency. Ever since then, he's been doing the same thing.
Seriously, I had no idea about any of this. I mean, is my brother really just a temp?
You can choose to believe me or not. It really doesn't affect the reality of the situation either way. But you should know that I've been paying for all of the utilities, food, and everything else that we've all been using at this house. That is why I have a problem with you spending more and more time here and suggesting that I pay for everything that you need as well.
I don't believe this. This is all too much to take in at once.
Well, anyways, I say all of this to explain to you why your brother won't be able to just buy this house like it's nothing.
So he's just another bum? Earning nothing?
I'm glad that you finally understand the situation. Now please, pack up your things and leave my house already. I can make sure to send some of your boxes to your address. The sooner you leave, the better.
But my parents are going to be so mad at me if I go back. Please don't make me go back there. You have no idea how strict they've always been. But if they found out some of the things I was saying to you or doing, then I don't know what they'll do to me.
Don't worry. I actually already called ahead to your parents, explained to them everything, and asked them not to be too mad at you.
So, you talked to my parents about all this already? They know about everything already? Oh no, this is really bad. What am I gonna do? I'll be in huge trouble back home.
That's right, I did. I imagine that they will be somewhat mad, but I don't think either of us can really blame them for that, right?
I suppose you're right, but I'm really scared.
That's okay. You just go on home now, okay?
I'm so sorry for everything I did and said before, Cheryl.
Cheryl, are you there? This is really serious. You had better get back to me. I had completely forgotten that your parents were getting back here today. Why didn't you ever remind me that they were coming today? I just got back from work and I saw the two of them there waiting for me. They looked so pissed. When I walked up to them to greet them, they both just started yelling at me, launching into this tirade about all the things wrong that I've done. Not only that, but I heard that you told Maisie about my job? Why would you do that? You've completely ruined the image that she has of me. Now my only sister hates me, and it's all your fault. Even my parents don't want me to live at their place anymore. What am I supposed to do? You have to help me.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We're getting a divorce.
Wait, what? You can't be serious, right? You really want to end things with me? I don't even understand what I did that was wrong. Please don't do this to me.
Of course I am. I am very serious.
But then I'll have nothing, no one. What am I supposed to do without you? Please don't do this to me. I need your help. Cheryl, please, come back. You can't leave me.
Without anywhere else to go, Barry had no choice but to try going to his parents' house one more time. Barry's parents have always really liked me, and when he went back, they were still furious with him for what he did to me. They also had no idea he was working for a temp agency. After our divorce, he found a new job at a famously strict company. Although even after starting work there, he never regained the confidence of his little sister. I heard that he didn't even last long at the company, and was eventually forced to go back to his parents for a second time. Maisie, now totally disillusioned with her older brother, decided to enroll in a beauty class and studied until she found a job at a salon and raised enough money to move out and live on her own, away from the rest of her family.
Did you finish up at the doctor already, Rhea? How was the result?
I'm done. Hey, aren't you at work, Callum? Is it all right for you to be texting me?
A little bit is fine. I'm just really worried about your result. I can't concentrate on work, lol.
Really? You must love me a lot.
Of course. So, how was it?
Well, it is breast cancer. They said I should get surgery.
OMG. How advanced is it, and how far has it spread? You'll be alright if you get surgery now, right?
Well, I thought I'd tell you the details after you get back from work. But do you want to know now, Callum?
Now, if possible. Like I said earlier, I've been worrying about this all day. Would you prefer not to tell me over texts?
Maybe a little difficult to say right now. Yeah. I'm afraid of your reaction, Callum.
Afraid of my reaction? Why? Is it bad? Don't tell me it's too late to save you.
No, we should be fine there. As long as I have the surgery, there should be no threat to my life.
Oh, thank God. So, it's something else? I'll accept whatever it is, so just tell me.
Well, here goes. It looks like the cancer is more advanced than I thought. It might be difficult to preserve the breast tissue.
Oh, no. I'm not an expert, so I'll have to rely on the internet for this. Maybe this is an inaccurate way of putting it, but does that mean they'll be removing your breast tissue?
Yeah, it's exactly as you say. Well, not all of the tissue, just part of it.
I can't really picture it, but what's going to happen? Are your breasts just going to get smaller?
It depends on the case, but it might have an effect on their shape. They might become asymmetrical in shape or size. I'm sorry if that happens.
No, I'm the one who should be sorry. I couldn't imagine it properly, so I had to ask. Of course, it's not as simple as your breasts getting smaller.
No, not at all. According to some people, sometimes it can just be a case of them getting smaller.
But isn't this hard on you, Rhea? I'm sorry I asked so many insensitive questions. I should have thought of your feelings.
It's fine, Callum. Aren't you the one who'll be disappointed by this change? I don't think you'll like it when my breasts look weird.
Don't say that. I didn't marry your breasts, Rhea. I don't care at all if this changes the shape of them.
Are you sure?
What would I gain from lying about this?
I'm just glad that you'll be able to live through this. Thank you, Callum. Now I can feel positive about getting the surgery.
That makes me feel better too. I'm very blessed to have you as my wife.
I'm glad to have you as a husband, too. Thank you for being so understanding.
That goes both ways. Rhea, I heard from Callum. You're getting surgery for breast cancer?
That's right, Sharon. It's not a good feeling. I'm already nervous.
I didn't know you were the type to get nervous. You don't seem to be the sensitive type.
Well, all sorts can go wrong in surgery. There's also the fact that they'll be putting scalpels in my breasts, so of course I'd be nervous. They're an important part of my body as a woman.
Really? You don't behave like a lady. I thought you don't really care about your femininity because you always dress so dull.
I'm doing my best to do what works. I don't want to dress in a way that your son dislikes, after all.
How you normally dress is you doing your best? Then you have no taste. Maybe you should just give up because you don't seem to be naturally inclined for that.
No, I think it's important to make an effort. Maintaining your appearance is important.
That advice means nothing coming from you. Well, I know you're not the most fashionable, but do your best, honey. Oh, but I do worry about you.
You mean the surgery? There's almost no chance of failure, so I should be fine. There's minimal risk to my health, too.
No, not that. Not the surgery. I'm worried about your marriage with my son.
Our marriage? Thanks for the concern, but Callum and I are doing just fine. I don't think you have any reason to be concerned, Sharon. Don't worry.
But you're talking about the present, aren't you? What about after the surgery? With your plain looks and your breasts losing their shape on top of that? That sounds pretty grim.
We should be fine. Callum said I don't need to worry about that. I believe him.
I wonder. Callum is very kind. He's probably just saying that to make you feel better.
Well, I'll be getting the surgery anyway. So, I have to worry about that first.
If you say so. But you'll be less attractive after that. When you have nothing else going for you, maybe Callum will change his mind?
That's not really for me to decide. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, after all.
You're always so argumentative, Rhea. That's why I'm saying that you lack femininity. You should learn more from me.
Sharon, you're pushing 60 and still wearing miniskirts. I like to think I'm better than that. Are you really one to lecture others about fashion? Callum is always embarrassed by his mother's wardrobe, so maybe you should stop. Isn't it part of fashion to wear clothes that actually suit you?
You're a really annoying daughter-in-law. Don't you know that you should respect your mother-in-law? I do wonder what Callum sees in you.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Callum himself. But he says he loves me for my personality too, so I quite like myself. If you want your son to like me, maybe you could learn from me?
You always think you're so clever with that mouth of yours. You won't be laughing for long. Don't come crying to me if Callum leaves you after the surgery.
That doesn't seem like it's happening, so don't hold on to your hopes for that. Maybe you should stop being so rude or you won't be laughing for long, Sharon.
You don't have to ask. Bye! Rhea, I just finished work. I'm coming home. What's for dinner tonight?
What? You were so horrible to me this afternoon. How could you say such a thing? Are you going to pretend that didn't happen?
Huh? Sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Why are you so angry?
This is your email address, right? Ew, carved out breasts are gross, it says. When you reassured me the other day, were you lying to me?
Wait a second. I really don't remember sending that.
Then how do you explain the email? You sent this to me this afternoon from your phone, didn't you, Callum?
No, I didn't have a break today, and I didn't even touch my phone. Around that time, I was talking to a client.
Huh? So you really didn't send this?
It wasn't me. I always tell you, but you mean everything to me, Rhea. I would never do anything to hurt you.
Are you sure? Can I trust you on this?
If you don't believe me, you can check with my coworkers. Everyone knows I had a meeting with a client. But I'd like you to believe me if you can.
All right. I believe you, Callum. I'm sorry I jumped to conclusions.
No, it's understandable, because it is from my email address. But why did someone use my email? I really don't get it.
Did someone hack you?
I guess that's possible. But it's strange that they know about your breast cancer, don't you think? And I don't get why they'd send an email to you, Rhea.
I guess so. But you'd better check just in case.
You're right. I'll get my PC looked at. It's not impossible that this is a virus. But if it is, what a pain.
Why? What's wrong?
The laptop I left with my parents uses the same email address. I have to go get it, so that's a bit of a bother.
Wait a minute. Do you remember all the devices that use that email address?
I do remember, yeah. But why?
Just tell me.
Don't get so angry. The desktop PC at home, my phone, plus my laptop at my parents'. I think that's all of them.
You're certain?
I'm a little hazy about the one at my parents', but I'm pretty sure. Why? Is that important?
Thanks. I think I might have figured out who did this thanks to what you just told me.
Seriously?
Dead serious. So, there's something I want you to do to help me confirm. Can you help me?
I'll help you with anything if we might be able to catch the culprit. What do I need to do?
I'll tell you when I get home. Do you have a minute, Sharon? It's something important.
What is it, Rhea? Did Callum lose his attraction for you?
No, that's not happening. So, don't you worry about that. You'd better worry about yourself rather than others at the moment.
About myself? What are you on about?
You're the one who's been sending me harassing messages through Callum's email address. Aren't you, Sharon?
Oh, those harassing messages? The ones saying that your breasts would lose their shape or be gross after surgery? You told me about those when you came over the other day. Why am I being blamed for those?
Do you know about spyware for people suspecting their partners are having an affair? That kind of software is really advanced these days.
Huh? I thought we were talking about those harassing emails. You suddenly changed the topic completely.
No, this has everything to do with the topic. Callum has a laptop that he keeps at your house, doesn't he? I installed spyware like that on that laptop. Of course, I did it with Callum's permission.
So what if you did? I don't see what that has to do with anything.
There's all sorts of different types to this kind of spyware.
Some of them take regular screenshots of what the user sees on the desktop. Screenshots? That's right. Here's one of the screenshots it caught. Yes, and? Are you trying to say that I sent those harassing messages? I was just trying to look up something on that laptop. What's the problem there? You're right. There's no problem if you were just looking something up. But only if the time that the email was sent and the time that you were using the laptop matches, Sharon. You call that evidence? This is ridiculous. Of course, that on its own isn't evidence enough. But it was enough to make us start for a deeper check. By checking properly, I could find out which device was used to send those emails. That's what you call evidence. Oh, stop this nonsense. You're the one who is spying on me. I'll report you to the police. That laptop is Callum's. I got those screenshots after getting permission from him. So there's no legal issues there. I've also got Jamal's permission. If anything, using someone else's PC and email address would be the legal issue. You got my son and my husband involved? Did you show them both the evidence? Of course I did. Even if you're family, this is a crime. Hey, what did Callum and Jamal say? They're not angry, are they? It was just a little prank. Yes, I have a message from Callum. He says he's cutting ties with you, so you should never contact him again. Jamal says he's decided to divorce you, too. So you'd better prepare yourself before you get home. Are you kidding me? I just insulted your looks a little bit. I didn't do anything to deserve this treatment. That's not for you to decide, Sharon. It's for the three of us to decide in this case. Come on, please. Can't you tell them to rethink this, Rhea? This is your fault, so you should take responsibility. I'm impressed that you have the nerve to say such a thing after what you did. You always judge people by their appearance. But why don't you take this opportunity to improve that ugly personality of yours? After that, Jamal divorced Sharon because he was furious with what she did. Callum was also very angry with his mother, so he decided to press charges against her. But Jamal had a discussion with him and offered compensation instead of suing Sharon for emotional damages. Callum accepted this, since it was his father's wishes. As a stay-at-home wife for a long time, Sharon wouldn't have been able to support herself and pay the money for the lawsuit. Jamal's arrangement was a final act of mercy to Sharon as they separated. As for me, after a successful surgery, I'm back to living normally and healthily. My breasts have changed shape due to the tissue removal. But Callum still loves me with all my heart, even after these changes. I suppose this would be a big deal for someone shallow. That's why if you only care about people's appearances like Sharon, you won't be treated well by others in return. Beauty comes from within, after all.